Name something more annoying than a squeaky tractor seat. It's one of those things that you don't hear until you hear it, and then you can't stop hearing it. Good morning, everybody. Ryan here. Welcome back to How Farms Work. Today we're in the 7600 and we are currently harrowing. So last night Travis did finish the soybeans. However, he broke something on the planter. He didn't say what, but he couldn't fold the planter up. So this morning he couldn't take it up to Rockville. He had to run to Sloan's, get a part. I see he just got it put on, whatever it was, and he's up there emptying the boxes of the planter. So now he's going to be taking that up to Rockville, and we aren't going to be able to plant corn yet this morning because there's rain like right there. It's coming right around the corner. And I was trying to get this done before the rain came. Andrew just called and said that he is on his way. He is headed out to that 24-acre field of mine that we seeded down last year that didn't take, and we're going to be doing Burndown on it. So he has Independent Nozzles on the sprayer. Travis went through and he mapped out the waterways, what should be waterways, on that field. We still don't want them sprayed, regardless of whether there's any grass growing there this year or not, because Travis and I want to go out and take the broadcast seeder out and broadcast seed into the waterway, because we need to establish waterways there. So Andrew's coming down. He's gonna pick me up. I kind of want to see the sprayer run with its independent nozzles. He should be able to load the map up that Travis did the boundaries on, which shows the waterways, and he should be able to load that into the sprayer so the sprayer knows when to shut off the nozzles. So Andrew's coming over. He's gonna pick me up, and we're gonna run over to my 24-acre field. It shouldn't take too long once they get started spraying, and we'll see how that runs over there. I don't have anything like my drone on me, but we're going back to the buildings, and Andrew's gonna pick us up. I just pulled the boundary files off the egg leader monitor, and we're gonna bring those in, and I'm gonna put these into the sprayer today. Okay. So the field that we're burning down has some waterways in it we want to leave, and so ideally, as long as the waterways were mapped the right way that we want them mapped, they were mapped with RTK signal. We've got RTK in the sprayer, so we should be able to just bring that in. Here's the Hinderman field. So Travis took the irrigator out with the egg leader 7500 globe with the TerraStar X subscription and made RTK quality boundaries. And so we went in here. I did adjust to one because there was a little bit of overlap, and I'm making a sprayer boundary out of this. So with independent nozzles, if there's even a little bit of green in here, those nozzles will kick on and spray that. So we want to really protect these waterways and make sure that sprayer doesn't spray through them. So I loaded this in from the egg leader monitor, and now we're just going to export it out in a file that the Raven monitor can see. So I'll just go to device setup. I've already made a configurator here, so I can edit that if I want to. So then you can see we've got a name there, we've got the field set up in it, and spatial data set up. I've moved the boundary over, so that's what's going to export into this job. I'm just going to hit OK there, export to display, and here's all the different displays that the egg leader SMS allows us to export boundaries and different sorts of data to. I'm going to choose an ISO display, and we're going to use a generic type 2. That's what the Raven can read. So export to selected display, we're going to put it on the USB drive, hit OK, and there it is. So now I can take that USB drive into the Raven monitor, and we should be set to go. So the Raven Viper 4 has a lot of really neat features, and one feature that I've asked them to be able to do is allow me to send these boundaries wirelessly. So that's the one thing I can't send to the Viper 4 at this time. We can send prescriptions wirelessly, but they call it a scout group in a Raven monitor, and there's just no way to move scout groups over wirelessly, so I do have to physically be here with the USB drive to get that in there. A lot of times at the beginning of the season, we'll organize our boundaries and then load them into each of our Viper 4s, and so the sprayers are ready to go and we don't have to be doing this each job. But because this is a recently run and updated boundary, I'm here. We'll get that updated, and we'll see how it works with the independent nozzles.
Cool. So Andrew and I are trying to figure out what each of these strips were when I took this over last year, because looking at across the field, you can still see the strips from the year before I had it. So we're trying to figure out why the alfalfa didn't take as well on some spots as it did on others. Right here, it seems like it's taken a little bit better versus some of the spots a little bit above and below us.
This was corn.
Okay.
This is beans. That's herbicide carryover.
That's what we were wondering, if whatever they were spraying used a spraying on it.
Yeah, probably high rate of atrazine would be my guess.
Well, hard lesson learned. Don't put something into hay the year you take it over.
Right. Yeah. And I see that quite often where hay seeded in. I've got guys that will only seed hay in the bean stubble, especially the guys that do a one-pass herbicide program, because you need such a full load of the active ingredient on a one-pass system to keep your weeds under control for the whole year. But you tend to have residual into the next year that can really affect new seeding. So typically with beans, you don't have that high of a load of residual, plus the bean herbicides are a lot safer on a legume crop because beans are a legume. So guys typically will, on a one-pass herbicide program, have better luck seeding, new seeding into soybean fields. Plus you don't have the residue to manage near as bad. You can just direct seed into it or lightly work it ahead of time. And
okay.
But we saw, you know, on some of those strips where it was corn, we saw some of those alfalfa plants that actually did germinate and grow, but they were just so sick. There was nothing in those roots. It was all brown. They, you know, just kind of stay over winter and come back to life this spring. So we saw a lot of that in here. We got some, you know, grasses and stuff coming up there, but you pulled that plant up earlier. There's some still small ones just starting up here.
There's not very much evenness in the field for how that's coming back.
No.
Might have been a cold morning and someone drove up across it and killed what was there.
Yep. If you damage the crowns on these alfalfa plants, they're pretty much done.
I just took Andrew's drone up to have a look at the field, and I have to admit that it looks worse from the air. When you get down eye level with it, the green kind of makes it look a little bit more green than it actually is. But this just kind of reaffirms my decision to spray it off. We were on the fence there for a while, but I think that putting it back into corn's definitely the better option to go down. And you can see where the previous strips were 2 years ago.
No delay on Roundup, so there is no delay on this.
Really?
It's suggested that it's 1 hour, and on the Roundup label, rainfall after application may reduce effectiveness.
Okay.
So let's put USB drive in there that we put the boundaries on. Alright, so I'll go to my USB drive, and file type is going to be an ISO task data. Next, task data right there, and I'm going to bring it in, so that's a copy. That's our file. It's transferring it over. Successfully transferred. So go to my map. With any luck, there's our boundary. It's as simple as that. Alright, so I'm pretty happy because we just tried it over there. I want to, I always try it slow before I go gung-ho in it, just to make sure I'm not going to spray out your waterways for you. But we're going to start here in the corner and go around. And so some of these monitors are kind of goofy when it comes to interior and exterior boundaries. And with a Raven, we got to call an interior boundary a no spray zone. And I am kind of concerned about the weather here. We checked the label before we came out here, Ryan. Ryan, you and I looked at the labels on these, and there is no rain timing on the label as far as when you can spray. It's not suggested that you spray if you got rain coming immediately, but I am obviously going to guarantee this application. More than anything, this is a burn down, so it's it's just Roundup and 2,4-D, and my biggest priority is to make sure these boundaries and stuff are going to work, so we don't spray out the waterways. We've got to come do a little touch up. In my opinion, it's not the end of the world here. So if I turn it on, see my boom's not on there. Look at it come on. So that's the independent nozzle technology for you, taking care of your waterways. We've got the exterior boundary. This is kind of nice too for applicators to know. It's easy to see if you're at the edge of the field or not. Especially when you got the larger booms, you don't want to be running into fence lines. And look how it does going through those waterways. Now, if you don't have this independent nozzle technology, what you'd have to do is drive up and down these waterways. Well, a lot of times, one of the issues with that is you can leave ruts then, because you've basically now created a spot. Isn't that cool? I got my boom hanging way out over that edge, which with a normal sprayer, that'd be a big, bad deal.
It just immediately starts back up.
Yep, starts back up. No overspray. So this has turn compensation as well. With the Hawkeye, so as we go around the corners, it's making sure that the outside of the boom is spraying a 12 gallon to the acre, as well as the inside. Without Hawkeye, in a typical machine, you're going to be spraying a lot lower rate on the outside radius of your turn than what you would be doing on your inside radius, and that's why a lot of guys will see that you'll get the weeds really growing up on those turns because they basically have a half rate of chemical. These NCVs on the nozzles are going to open and close, basically create a different nozzle size for you so it can put out the right rate at each individual part of the boom. So it's amazing technology when it all works. You got a lot of moving parts out there on the boom, so you can occasionally have one of these NCVs fail on you. And they're not cheap. It's about a couple $100 per nozzle, really, to run this. But when you calculate the accuracy of it and the product savings, it doesn't take very long for it to pay for itself.
turns out that we only got enough to get the windshield wet on the sprayer that day. And I'm glad that we did it that day because it did kill off the hay, and it stopped raining. So we got that burn down in time so that we could go out and put down the corn. And we had to wait, I think it was about a week, for us to go out and plant anything out in it. So everything worked out. That's pretty much it for this video. Be sure to stay tuned. We have 2 more planting videos until we are moving on. And with that, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out all of our other videos. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, all how farms work. And with that, I'll see you next time.